Minglawa, welcome to Insight Myanmar. For this time, we are going to discuss about mobile information literacy. For this topic, we have invited special guest speakers. We have already known you, and the audience already familiar. Dr. Tan Tho Kaung. He's the CEO of Myanmar Book Center, so also the Executive Director of Myanmar Book Aid and Preservation Foundation. So also Mike Crandall, Principal Research Scientist at the University of Washington's Information School and retired Information School faculty member. Prior to joining the University of Washington, Mike was technology manager for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Libraries and Public Access to Information program and manager of the Knowledge Architecture Group in Microsoft Information Services. And beside me is Cheryl Day, the PhD candidate in Information School at the University of Washington, and also the researcher and lecturer. So we are very honored, and thank you very much for joining our talk show. And before much further ado, I would like to want to know about the mobile information literacy project that is implementing in our Myanmar society.
So I can start and describe, it's actually part of a larger project, which is called Information Strategies for Societies in Transition. And this was a project that was started with the recognition that Myanmar was going through a very rapid transformation in information and communication technologies and trying to help understand how to build the capacity within the country to take advantage of that change that's happening so quickly. The project is funded by USAID, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Microsoft, and we also have several partners in the country, as well as two different parts of the University of Washington who are working with this, the Jackson School of International Studies and the Information School, through a research group called the Technology and Social Change Group, which Cheryl is part of. The idea behind that is really to bring local partners in to help with this work. And we've been very fortunate to work with the Myanmar Book Aid and Preservation Foundation and Enlighten Myanmar Research on this project. They have been very instrumental in helping to understand the local context and to reach the actors and the audiences that we need to reach within the country. One of the big projects that we undertook as part of this larger project is the Mobile Information Literacy Project. And Cheryl will talk in a minute about the development of that curriculum and how that was built upon pre-existing curricula, but focused specifically on mobile devices, because almost everyone in Myanmar reaches the internet through their phone, not through a laptop or a tablet or any other kind of device. So it was very important that we understand how people use those devices to interact with others, to get information, to share information. And the idea was to build a curriculum that reflected that particular kind of environment and gave the capacity for both the individuals and the organizations that are helping those individuals to use that effectively. Dr. Thant has been extremely helpful in this project because he was already working with the libraries within Myanmar to do training on devices and other kinds of technology that are being used now. And he was generous enough to offer the services of his organization to help us with deploying this curriculum, and has been moving it across the country very rapidly, bringing librarians up to speed in how to be able to help their customers, their patrons, to understand how to use these devices. The strategy that we adopted was really to focus on libraries in particular, because they already are a community organization that interacts with much of the population, and being able to train the librarians in how to use these mobile devices effectively was the first step towards getting a broader penetration within the organization. So this is only one part of the project. We also have worked on, with Enlighten Myanmar Research, on developing data platforms that will allow better transmission of data from various sources to the public, and then building the capacity to really understand how to create good research projects and understand the evolution of the country as it moves through a very rapid transition. And then we also just put on, with great help from Dr. Thant, an information symposium which brought together people from all over the country, different sectors in government, civil society, technology organizations, to talk about information and information problems and how those are being addressed in the current environment, how we can come up with solutions that will help increase the flow of information and allow people to understand how to interpret that information so they use it effectively for the purposes that the country is striving for. So that's kind of the big picture of the project, and really the mobile information literacy curriculum is a big part of it. That's where we're really getting out to the people and trying to have them understand their role in using and sharing and developing information for the country. So Cheryl, do you want to talk a little?
Thanks, Mike. And Cheryl, so you are taking care of the curriculum. So focusing on the library and also the digital, mobile literacy. So how do you balance that curriculum?
So that was it was a real challenge for us in the beginning. This started in September of 2014 when we were trying to figure out the best way to help with Myanmar's transition into the online world. So in America, for example, we've had 20 years to adjust to the internet. In Myanmar, however, it's been in a space of 2 to 3 years. Where now, with access to the internet and this onslaught of information, we realize that there's a really strong need to be able to help the people of Myanmar make sense of the information and to be able to understand how they can participate in the internet. But we had to start from a very, very basic level. And that was the challenge that we had. So we wanted to be able to help with the capacity of the organizations in Myanmar to be able to train other people and to teach other people about that, because it had to be taught in Myanmar language. So we came up with a very basic curriculum, and it's based on the European Union's digital competency framework. It's the EU DigComp. And that allowed us to create this curriculum. We had, in consultation with Dr. Thant, a period of 3 days to try to be able to cover all of this literacy for a very basic level. And what we did was we came up with 6 modules for this curriculum, starting from Introduction to Information Communication Technologies, ICTs. The second module was Introduction to the World Wide Web and the Internet, and then we went on from there. But we wanted to build something that Dr. Thant and all the other trainers could continue to modify according to the different needs of different people. So we came in January and worked with Zateang and Yonjiar up in Mandalay, and we piloted the program. Based on their feedback, we developed out the final modules. And in April, we came to Yangon and delivered the curriculum to Dr. Thant, who then, his group, learned the curriculum themselves and then were able to train their 25 master librarians.
So when Cheryl, I also want to know, comparing with the West, when you visited Myanmar and you found that Myanmar people are so obsessed with Facebook, what is your feeling for this kind of finding? Yeah.
This was an interesting finding for us. We're not the only organization to understand this. When we piloted the program up in Mandalay in January, we posed a question to the participants there. We said, how many people here use the internet? Maybe 2 or 3 hands. How many people use Facebook? Everybody's hands went up. So we realized there was a disconnect with what the internet was and what Facebook was. And we realized that most people, at least there, if this is an indication of Myanmar, the general Myanmar public, if most people were thinking that their only access to the internet was Facebook, this was a problem. Because Facebook is only a very, 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 very tiny piece of the internet. So that was, we realized then that there was a real need for literacy, just a bigger understanding of what the internet is beyond Facebook. We also wanted to help educate people about the potential problems with just using Facebook. You know, what happens with your information, what Facebook might do with certain kinds of information, why you might not want to share certain kinds of information on a platform like that. So there are a lot of issues with that. But I love Facebook. We all use Facebook. But as the sole medium of communication, it does have problems. And we wanted to make sure that people were aware so that when they choose to use Facebook, it's an informed choice and not just by default where they go to communicate.
So it's really interesting about the Myanmar people's great interest about the Facebook. So we'll take a short break and we will be back. Stay with us. As we have already discussed about the mobile information literacy, Cheryl, you've mentioned that Facebook is also, Myanmar people should have to take care of it. You know, this is not only the access of internet, we have to explore more, you know, so how to navigate and also, you know, guidance for the Facebook to become, you know, useful book, a safe book instead of a hate book. So any thought for that?
You know, I think that a lot of that is what we're trying to address with our mobile information literacy. The fact that many people, I think, in Myanmar, and not just Myanmar, but even in America and the rest of the world, many people might find the information on Facebook to be, all the information on Facebook to be factual and true. And what we wanted to do was to help people understand that there's a way to discern and to determine whether or not information is true. You have to understand the source for one thing. You have to be able to verify the information using other sources of information. So we wanted to help provide a critical way of thinking about information presented in Facebook.
Siata, we have already discussed about the Myanmar Library Survey, Beyond Access, libraries empowering, you know, for the development and also the opportunities and challenges with Dr. Tan and also Siama Mary Callahan from the University of Washington and Siama Domya Sanye. So now, regarding the mobile information literacy project, so Myanmar Book Aid Preservation is also part of the project. So what are your implementation right now?
Yeah, I'll explain to you how we started with the University of Washington, how we engage. We, as you described, we are running this Beyond Access Myanmar project, providing the internet access, the tablets. Then we are giving the training to the librarian as well. But when we were engaged to the University of Washington, when we received the curriculum, we look at it and we found out that these curriculums are extremely useful for our librarians because this is kind of the synergy that we have with our current existing project, because the curriculums that we receive from the UW on the MIL, we call it, Mobile Information Literacy, is that is fundamental for the librarians to disseminate, you know, the information. First of all, the curriculum is, as Sarah described, that there are 6 modules. First of all, the modules are basically very basic, so such as what is internet, what is ICT, how to search your information online, and how to save this information effectively, and how you analyze and how you disseminate. So these are the basic part of the information process. And also, we found out that we also gave the training on the copyright issue. What are the privacy issue? When you talk about the Facebook, you know, so in Myanmar, the culture is like people always click the like all the time, you know. So this is something they have to learn. We train them where to like it, where to not like it, and then the way, what about your privacy? You know, you cannot just share the link like this, you know. So these are the things we train to our librarian. And we found out that after giving this training, we found out that their mindset has changed. And also we found out that this training, we should be able to, we are giving some training to the civil society, civil servants, and also research firms and media. And that's why we thought this training can be expanded to other areas, not just the librarian. I mean, many users should be able to get this training also. So right now, that's how we are discussing how we can expand this training to other areas as well.
So you have also planned for the translation, not only in Myanmar, other national races languages?
So far, all the translations are translated. I mean, the modules are translated into Myanmar language already. Of course, we have planned to translate into other ethnic languages as well. Or we should be able to teach them in the local languages also. Yes.
So we also learned that from Mike that with the theme from scarcity to overload, finding good enough public information in Myanmar's transition. So the information symposium. So please tell us about the impact of the previous symposium because you all have attended the symposium.
Yes. Let me share our experience first, how the symposium is alive. Actually, in Myanmar, there are different sectors having these conferences, you know, seminars, symposium all the time, especially from the ICT sector, the librarian also, the media, research firms, the government also. But we haven't done any event where all these sectors can sit down together and discuss together what are the common challenges, how we can overcome these challenges. Because each sector, from one sector to another, they can help each other. Say, for example, those challenges that we face in libraries, ICT sector can help help us a lot. So that's why we brought together these, we can say multi-stakeholder, all of them, they come, and we discuss. I mean, these 6 panels are really alive, and then a lot of active participation from the participants as well. So, of course, we found out that common challenges, such as the access to information, you know, also the scarcity of the trust, distrust and disconnect between the citizens and the international actors. So these are the common agendas, and at the end of the symposium, we also discuss what are the solutions. So we led the audience to raise questions, so a lot of people come up with a lot of questions. So we are sharing these online through our Facebook also, through the Myanmar Information Symposium Facebook. You can, yes.
For me, as someone not living in Myanmar but coming from another country, it was an incredible event. It's something that really is pretty unique in the sense that all of these different sectors were in the same room talking to each other about the problems that they all face together, and it's really was pretty amazing to see the interaction that happened and the ability of people to have a very thoughtful discourse about big problems that we face all over the world, but I think Myanmar faces them very directly right now because of the huge transition that's happening. And just to have that conversation in the first place about information, about use of information, about access to information it seems like a major event in so many ways. And I think the way Dr. Thant organized the symposium with the panelists and lots of time for questions, lots of time for discussion, really allowed that conversation to flower and bloom and really become a very rich and deep conversation, which I hope will continue to go on forever. Well, but hopefully it will be something that happens again, and that there's an opportunity to bring people together in the same way.
So, Dr. Ta, you mentioned during the symposium there is a information scarcity is because of the distrust. And so how this trust to build up the trust, not only among the local people, local stakeholders, also the international, community to also trust. So for this kind of, for the development of this transition society, so how long will it take?
That's a good question, because it's a lack of trust. Lack of trust is very common practice in Myanmar culture. Government don't trust the citizens don't trust the government, This is very common here. Maybe true in your country, I'm not sure. Yes. So actually, there are ways, we can overcome the trust, but slowly, but you cannot jump,